Odatv'den merhaba, ben Toygun Atilla. Rusya-Ukrayna Savaşı'nın ilk günden itibaren an be an gelişmeleri doğru ve tarafsız olarak kamuoyuna aktaran Odatv, savaşın 6. gününde çok önemli bir röportaja imza attı. Rusya'nın Kırım temsilcisi Georgiy Muradov, Odatv'nin savaşın gidişatı, geleceği, nükleer kriz ve Rusya-Türkiye ilişkilerine yönelik sorularını yanıtladı. Türk kamuoyunda çok tartışılacak sözlere imza attı. Gelin şimdi o röportajı hep birlikte izleyelim.
The danger of its existence, we will use all the measures we have in our hands.
Mr. Muradov, I would like to ask you about Mr. Vladimir Putin first. So, Mr. Putin is known as a leader, a mysterious figure. He's known as a strategist, but you know him personally. Can you tell us about Mr. Vladimir Putin, as you know him?
First of all, I should say that he is not mysterious at all. He is a very open person, and he speaks very friendly to everybody, including his Western partners, whom he calls and called for all the period of his presidency as friends and partners. He is a man who has no personal interests. He is a leader of the country, and of course his interest is the peace and stability of our country and generally in the world, because we need this peace and stability which somebody wants not to give us. He is a person who really has very big experience in politics. He understands all the long processes of development of international situation, and I'm absolutely sure that he takes very deep and concrete decisions, even in this very, I should say, situation which is very complicated.
In Turkish media and press, Russia's Crimean policy, and also you personally, were described as anti-Turkic. And there is a widespread belief that Russian Federation has ballistic missiles based in Crimea, and they are targeted to Turkey. Is it true? What are your answers to these claims, and do you have any message for Turkish people?
Well, first of all, I am a diplomat, and I am not involved in strategic or military things. I know nothing about missiles or something like that. I never heard that they can be in Crimean Peninsula. The second is that it is senseless to speak in words and explain that I am a friend of Turkish people. Everything can be explained in deeds and not in words. I should say that during all my diplomatic career abroad, and I worked in Balkans and Mediterranean region in many countries, I had very good relations with Turkish diplomats, and of course when I was attached by the Ministry of Foreign Affairs as a head of international affairs and foreign external economic policy of the city of Moscow, our capital city, I tried to do a lot for strengthening of our cooperation with Turkey, with the biggest cities as Istanbul, Ankara, and such mayors as Kadir Tobaş or Mr. Gökçek, who were mayors at my time working in Moscow, know me rather well. And we really made a lot of positive things for friendship and cooperation between our cities and our peoples. With great pleasure, I can see in the window many buildings just in the center of Moscow, which were constructed together with Turkish businessmen. And still I have very close cooperation with the business circles of Turkey. It is a big fake to say that our policy is anti-Turkish. And especially if we speak about Crimea, it is one of the regions of the Russian Federation. It has no its own foreign policy. we are following the policy of our state, of the Russian Federation. And as you know, these policies of close cooperation and our leadership and our president were always saying in good words about the leader of your country, saying that he is his friend. Of course, there are some moments which call for myself some doubts when one person is saying that you are my friend, and after that receiving those who want the destruction of Russia. I mean some traitors and renegades who were sitting in Kiev, saying that they are leaders of Crimean Tatars, which is not like this, because they are absolutely separated themselves about the needs and from the situation connected with Crimean Tatar people. And after that, it's impossible to his friend to say that these people, as I said, traitors and renegades, his brothers. For us, it is at least very strange to hear these words. And we always in Crimea say that we are open to the cooperation with public persons and business of Turkey. We called many times those who are interested to have good relations and develop cooperation with Crimea to come to our peninsula and to see how it is now developing after the returning with the referendum, the most democratic way to Russia, where it was present for centuries. Of course, we are absolutely open to this cooperation with Turkey, with the Turkish Republic, and with Turkish people. And still I have a lot of friends there, including the leadership of public organizations, of cities, and I hope that this period of tension around Russia and Crimea will pass, and we will organize again good contacts and cooperation between us.
So the world is following the Ukrainian crisis from the Western media mostly, and the Russian officials stressed criticism on this issue, and we would like to hear an opinion from the Russian side, and how this conflict started, how it got developed, and how it's going to end in the foreseeable future.
Well, look, I think that Russia as a big state and nation cannot feel safe in the face of anti-Russian actions of the nationalistic regime in Kiev, of the deployment of NATO military facilities in Ukraine, generally of expanding of NATO to our borders, and now attempts to take inside NATO the countries which were always part of our big nation. And the last and very important thing, it was the blackmail by Ukrainian leadership to begin to rebuild nuclear weapons, and refusal of the United States and NATO to provide guarantees against expansion of the alliance. The last straw, I should say, that overflowed Russia's patience was the growing, even after Moscow's recognition of Donetsk People's Republic and Lugansk People's Republic, shelling of towns in Donbass and deaths, though they knew, in Kiev, that we have the treaties of friendship and mutual assistance. And Kiev was unwilling to give up plans for military mopping up of these republics. The blockade of Crimea and violation of human rights of its residents was also absolutely vivid. And I should stress also the importance of resuming of constructive dialogue between Western countries and the Russian Federation. of implementing the principles of inseparability or indivisible and equal security for both sides. It was all ignored by Kiev and by the Western alliance. Ukrainian nationalists, we understand it well, will never forgive the people of Crimea for the free choice that they made in 2014, and that the current regime in Kiev is ready for armed provocation against the peninsula. One of important things which I wanted to stress was the creation of so-called international platform for the deoccupation of Crimea, which shows the plans of Western alliance, I mean NATO, and of Kiev, of course. It's an adventurous project that was supported by countries of NATO and European Union. And the purpose of this project is very simple: to put a question and threaten the territorial integrity of Russia. And this project inevitably led to sharp aggravation of the situation, not only around the peninsula, but also in the entire Black Sea region. That is the real situation which I would like to stress, and which began not yesterday. The beginning of it, I mean all the threats for the Russian Federation, had the beginning 25 years ago, and all the agreements which were signed with NATO countries absolutely violated about not expanding NATO to our borders. Now, the last developments have the root in the coup d'etat in Ukraine and coming into power of nationalistic forces, which in fact became Nazist forces because they took the decisions against the Russian population, which is very big in Ukraine, against the Russian language, against everything which is connected with Russia and building so-called anti-Russia. For us, it's a vital danger, and it is unacceptable. And it developed into the civil war with its own regions populated with those who have Russian roots, who wanted to have close relations with their motherland, I mean the Eastern Ukrainian, and Kiev began a civil war against them. Of course, many of these people are Russian citizens and have Russian passports. It was the obligation of the Russian Federation to save them, to make them safe, and to save the positions of the Russian Federation itself because of this very big danger of deploying more and more of bloc of NATO. In few words, it's like this.
My fourth question is about Turkey and the crisis. So, how was Turkey's foreign policy during the crisis between Ukraine and Russia? And how would you comment on Turkish foreign policy since the start of the conflict and the current Turkish policy? And what do you expect from Turkey to do in the future?
Well, of course, we understand that Turkey is a member of NATO and it supports generally the course of NATO. But nevertheless, in these circumstances of aggravation of tension, we would hope that Turkey will understand the position of the Russian Federation and the dangers which we have. As I said, the principle of indivisible and equal security. We know that Turkey itself had many steps, had made many steps in foreign policy when it felt danger, including some steps in Iraq and closer countries, when Turkey wanted to defend itself. And in this understanding, I think that Turkey knows very well what means the safety and the stability of its country. That's why I hope that at least Turkey will be neutral in this great and dangerous conflict with Western countries, because as we see, Turkey is not the country which agrees with everything what Washington says. And in difficult periods of even last Turkish history, Russia tried to support Turkish leadership because there were provocations against this leadership on behalf of Americans and some forces which were trying to make coup d'etat in Turkey. We showed our friendship, and we hope that Turkey will show the same feelings to us, to Russia.
You mentioned Ukraine blackmailed Russia with obtaining nuclear weapons, and Mr. Vladimir Putin put strategic forces on duty, and Americans said they will respond as well. So can we say, or can you say that is there a nuclear danger in the world now, or it's just a formal exercise?
Look, nuclear danger, to my opinion, it's my personal opinion, always exists until we have the nuclear weapons. And everybody knows that nuclear war is unacceptable for all the countries and for peace generally and for the world generally. But I would say that some people in NATO would read thoroughly our concept of defense and security, which is published many years ago, which is saying if Russia has vital danger, the danger of its existence, we will use all the measures we have in our hands. I would like to wish peace and cooperation and friendship between our peoples, and of course peaceful existence for Turkish people.